Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. If you have a deep desire for change, that will take you farther than just dreaming and wishing and hoping. You must be ready for change. You must be ready, willing, and able, that you know there's something better, something more, something greater for you. And that's how the whole universe expands. It's not selfish or greedy or evil to want more, so long as you're not being selfish and greedy and taking from other people. When you desire a bigger life, more luxury, more experiences, more love, you can have that, and so can everyone else, so long as you believe it, because the universe is infinite. This is an infinite universe that we live in, and it's constantly changing. Change is the only constant. So rather than looking at what is and complaining about it, you can look at what is and know that that is current results, but nothing stays the same. Everything changes. You're not the same person that you were yesterday. You're not the same person that you were when you were born. But the change is so gradual, sometimes we don't notice it, and we think that it's always the same. Look in the mirror at who you are today. You're not the newborn baby. You're not a toddler. You're no longer the person who is worried and doubting and depressed. You can look at yourself and say, I am co-creating my life with infinite intelligence. I can decide this is going to be a fantastic day. Life is going to flow with ease. Today is going to be more productive than the whole week was, because I'm allowing it to be easy. I'm allowing it to flow. I'm not getting in the way. I'm not sabotaging my results. I know what I'm going after. I know what I want. And let's go. Desire is the force behind all things. It is the moving principle of the universe and the innermost center of all life. We're not here to play small or to stamp out life. We're here to acquire the knowledge by which to guide our desires to their true objects of satisfaction. Thomas Troward says, to do this is the whole end of knowledge, and any knowledge applied otherwise is only a partial knowledge, which, having failed in its purpose, is nothing but ignorance. Desire is thus the sum total of the livingness of life, for it is that in which all movement originates, whether on the physical level or the spiritual. In a word, desire is the creative power and must be carefully guarded, trained, and directed accordingly. But thus to seek to develop it to the highest perfection is the very opposite of trying to kill it outright. And desire has fulfillment for its correlative. The desire and its fulfillment are bound together as cause and effect. And when we realize the law of their sequence, we shall be more than ever impressed with the supreme importance of desire as the great center of life. Do desire a greater purpose in your life, to do more, to be more, to have more, to create more life for your family. So many people say, I don't need a lot. I'm happy with the simple life. That's wonderful. But how much more could you do for yourself if you had more money to study? How much more could you do for how you create if you had untold sums of money and you could help contribute to poverty, to homelessness, to literacy? Who would you help? Many people say, oh, if I had extra money, I would make sure all the animals are safe. I would build shelters. I would build a gym. I would build a homeless shelter. What could you do if there was unlimited money? There wouldn't be no such thing as homelessness and poverty. If you could house the poor, if you could allow people to be educated so that they too could realize that they are God's highest form of creation and they could tap into infinite intelligence, they could gain the knowledge that they are worthy of receiving. What would you do if you could wave a magic wand and help those less fortunate than yourself? Wanting more is not greedy, it's how the whole universe expands. What is it that you desire? You have to give first. That's the law of cause and effect. There is a reciprocity in the universe. What you put out is what you receive. So if you want more money, it's important to do more, to give more service, to help those less fortunate than you. And then you're rewarded by the universe. And you don't have to give money. You could give your knowledge, your service, your volunteering, your helping without expectation. Not if I do this for you, then you should do this for me. That's just trading. But tapping in to the universal intelligence that is an unlimited storehouse. Imagine that you are in a universe where everything you want is available to you. You just have to go out and get it. You have to decide what it is and you have to claim it. You might have been told that there's not enough to go around. You might have been programmed to believe that money is evil or it's hard to make. When you believe in abundance, in prosperity, in ease and flow, and allow it to be easy, allow your divine loving Father to reward you because you are loved, you are important, you are worthy. You don't need to worry about when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. You just have to decide, what is your desire? Some people do want to live simply beside a lovely little flowing river in nature, in quiet solitude. And some people love the busyness, the, the fast-paced city. They want to travel the world and see as much as possible and help as many people as possible. that takes money because money is what we use to trade. We trade our services for money. We trade our knowledge for money. We trade our products for money. If you want to do more, be more, and have more, it's important that you have a good relationship with money and don't think it's evil or dirty or not enough to go around. There is a thought process that puts you in alignment with prosperity and abundance. You can look at some of your limiting beliefs. What were you taught growing up? If you were taught that money is hard to earn, you would believe that you have to work harder and harder and harder to be out of debt or to be wealthy. But when you look around, you can notice the hardest working people tend to have the least amount of money. You want enough money to enjoy your life and to buy beautiful gifts for your family and to pay for knowledge and to help other people. Give from a place of abundance. Give from a place of knowing that you are always taken care of. I'm going to read a chapter I haven't read before from The Hidden Power by Thomas Troward. It's called Present Truth. He says, if thought power is good for anything, it is good for everything. If it can produce one thing, it can produce all things. For what is to hinder it? Nothing can stop us from thinking. We can think what we please. And if to think is to form, then we can form what we please. The whole question, therefore, resolves itself into this. Is it true that to think is to form? If so, do we not see that our limitations are formed in precisely the same way as our expansions? We think that conditions outside our thought have power over us, and so we think power into them. So the great question of life is whether there is any other creative power than thought. If so, where is it and what is it? Both philosophy and religion lead us to the truth that in the beginning there was no other creative power than spirit, and the only mode of activity we can possibly attribute to spirit is thought. And so we find thought as the root of all things. And if this was the case in the beginning, it must so be. It must so still be. For if all things originate in thought, all things must be modes of thought. And so it is impossible for spirit ever to hand over its creations to some power which is not itself. That is to say, which is not thought power. And consequently, all the forms and circumstances that surround us are manifestations of the creative power of thought. Well, think about that. If you have a thought that you need groceries, that leads you to taking action to go to the grocery store and purchase food and then drive home or walk home and cook your food. If you have a thought of wanting to travel, you either make that happen or you think, oh, I can't afford it, and you talk yourself out of it. Everything starts with thought. Thomas Troward says, But it may be objected that this is God's thought and that the creative power is in God and not man. But this goes away from the self-evident axiomatic truth that in the beginning, nothing could have had any origin except thought. It is quite true that nothing has any origin except in the divine mind, and man himself is therefore a mode of the divine thought. Again, man is self-conscious. Therefore, man is the divine. The divine thought evolved into individual consciousness. And when he becomes sufficiently enlightened to realize this as his origin, then he sees that he is a reproduction in individuality of the same spirit which produces all things, and that his own thought in individuality has exactly the same quality as the divine thought in universality. Just as fire is equally ignorous, whether burning round a large center of combustion or a small one. Thus, we are logically brought to the conclusion that our thought must have creative power. But people say we have not found it so. We are surrounded by all sorts of circumstances that we do not desire. Yes, you fear them, and in doing so, you think them. And in this way, you are constantly exercising this divine prerogative of creation by thought. Only through ignorance, you use it in the wrong direction. Therefore, the book of divine instructions so constantly repeats, fear not, doubt not, because we can never divest our thought of its inherent creative quality. And the only question is whether we shall use it ignorantly to our injury or understandingly to our benefit. Are you using your thoughts for the creation of what you desire, or are you using your thought power against yourself? That is a profound realization. If you're worried, doubtful, fearing, you're focusing your attention in the wrong direction. You're focusing on what you don't want, and that energy creates it. And you say, no, I don't want it. I'm pushing it away. There is no law of assertion. You cannot push it away because what you try to push against just gets stronger. Think about going to the gym and lifting weights and building up your muscles. What you resist persists. The force becomes stronger when you give your attention to worry, fear, and doubt. That leads to depression and dis-ease in the body and ultimately disintegration. So you want to notice what you're thinking. Use your thought power to create wonderful, lovely, beautiful faith in the divine, faith that you are co-creating your life with God, with infinite intelligence. Express that well-being, feel good, and then good things come to you. Feel abundantly blessed, and you notice how wonderful your life is, how much you have acquired, how much you have built up in your life. Thomas Troward says, the master summed up his teaching in the aphorism that knowledge of the truth would make us free. Here is no announcement of anything we have to do or of anything that has to be done for us in order to gain our liberty. Neither is it a statement of anything future. Truth is what is. He did not say, you must wait until something becomes true, which is not true now. He said, know what is truth now, and you will find that the truth concerning yourself is liberty. If the knowledge of truth makes us free, it can only be because in truth we are free already, only we do not know it. Our liberty consists in our reproducing on the scale of the individual the same creative power of thought which first brought the world into existence, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Let us then confidently claim our birthright as sons and daughters of the Almighty, and by habitually thinking the good, the beautiful, and the true, surround ourselves with conditions corresponding to our thoughts, and by our teaching and example, help others to do the same. Which direction are you thinking? Forget about current circumstances and conditions that you find yourself, what you believe to be stuck in. Instead of being mired in the muck, look at the light. Bring in the divine energy. That takes some practice to block out what's going on the outside. It takes practice to sit still, to go deep inside to your inner knowing, that the knowing the truth, and the truth will set you free. You are a divine spark of infinite energy, infinite intelligence. That's just been covered up by all the lies and worries that have been programmed into us through ignorance. The people who told you that money is evil were programmed by others who did not understand that this is an abundant world. And the more you focus on good and beautiful and prosperity, the more you notice how good life really is. Turn away from the worry, the doubt, the fear, the anxiety. Those are opposite energetic vibrational frequencies. In order to bring prosperity, abundance, love, peace, joy, happiness, you have to get into those feelings, get into the vibrational energy of what does love feel like. When you start this, you might say, well, I don't know how to do that. You could practice thinking about your favorite day, your favorite person, your favorite pet. How grateful are you to have that in your life? When you think about the unconditional love of a pet, or being in the arms of a loved one, or the peace and the joy of being in a sacred place, feeling connected to divine, to God, to universe, Buddha, Allah, whatever you want to place your understanding in the divine. Tap into that energy and say thank you. If you get into a feeling of deep and profound gratitude for being alive, for having a new day, a clean slate to do whatever you desire, and not feel tied by and bound by the limiting thoughts that were programmed into you by people who did not understand that this is an infinite universe with infinite possibilities. You are a spark of infinite divine. Remember that. You are a child of God. You are favored. You are worthy. You are loved. You are divinely blessed. Say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When you can get into a deep and profound feeling of gratitude for something or someone, some experience, whatever it is that you can feel deeply grateful for, and allow that feeling to wash over you, to overwhelm you. Get so deeply connected, you just know you are taken care of. And believe that everything is happening for your greater good. All the struggles and challenges that you have been through so far have created this version of you. And it's strengthened your resolve, it's strengthened your determination. Looking at what is has caused you to think about changing. What do you desire? What do you really want? From a place of knowing it's yours, write down that you are happy and grateful, thankful that you can create that, that it's meant for you. The picture that you hold in your mind, the feeling that you have in your heart, your thought energy is creating your life. Decide what it is that you truly want. Write about it. Think about it. Feel as if it's already created. And as you do that, you will receive ideas. Act on those ideas, and your life will change like night is today. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Use your thought energy to power the life that you do want. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.